Hey, 10th grade. So I haven't graded them yet, but your assignment for Monday, the ones that I have looked over, were really great, actually. You guys are really getting into the habit and really getting the hang of finding these very significant quotes and just putting them in there. You guys are doing some incredible work there, and I've been very impressed with what you've been able to isolate and find. And then also, I really enjoyed reading the answers to your questions that you were asked for chapters 12 through 13. Some of you put some very incredible, thorough stuff in just 2 to 3 sentences, and it was amazing. And I'm like, you guys are really getting this. This is great. And most of you are doing great work on that as well. So you guys are really tackling this stuff on your own, and I'm really enjoying seeing what you have to offer. And it seems like you guys are getting this stuff not just from a comprehension standpoint, but also from a more important standpoint, the larger issues that the novel is dealing with. And that makes me really happy, and that lets me know that this is actually working, even if I'm not actually there to teach it to you. And you guys are doing it on your own. And honestly, that's more effective because you guys are learning it more on your own, which means that you're having to wrestle with it, grapple with it, and deal with things on your own, which means that you're going to learn it better, which I am really enjoying to see in all of your work. So without further ado, let's jump into what you're doing for today. So first of all, if you were going to read chapters 14 through 15, which is the latter part of the section for this week. So in looking at what you're doing for today, after you read those chapters, you will then need to work on the chapter organizer, or you can work on it as you're reading through. I don't care. Just get it done. It doesn't matter. So let's hop on over and see what you guys are doing for today. So this is chapter 14 to 15. You can complete this on the same document that you made for Monday, because if you just scroll down on the document, this information will be there as well. And you guys can, type on your own document that you made, and you won't have to share it with me again because I can just log on and see it all when I grade it all, and we'll go from there. So again, I have tried to give you specific things on where, or some specific instructions on where to look for these particular things. This one, for example, comes in chapter 14, right after Dill arrives. You're looking for something that is said about Jim becoming an adult. Maybe something that Scout observes, maybe something that somebody says, maybe something that Jim says that reveals that he is growing up and becoming a young man rather than just this little boy. The next one, Sheriff Heck Tate Spears. You haven't really met him yet, but he'll show up here. And or racism. Now, these two are related to one another because it is fear or racism, but these things specifically in regard to Sheriff Heck Tate are related to one another. So if you need to see this as an and or an or thing, both are valid as you're looking for that, but that is also from chapter 14. This next one, Scout's naivete or innocence in confronting the mob. So I'm not going to go into what that means because you'll see that in chapter 15 when you get there, but naivete is related to the word naive, and that just means that someone is innocently ignorant of something. They don't quite understand something about how the world works, or about how or about why things have to happen the way that they're happening. It is related to innocence. It's just a more specific form of innocence. You can hear of something like a naive politician, which would be someone who was just elected to Congress, for example, and then they think that it's going to be like this, and it's nothing like this, it's actually like that. And so they enter in with their perception of it being like this and having all of their idealistic hopes and dreams, but then it's actually like, no, that's not going to happen. It's like this. It's actually this other way. That is what naivete would be. So that's what that means. And then finally, Atticus says some things about what it means to be human at the end of chapter 15, and just look from there. I'm not going to go into what these questions mean specifically. Just pay super specific attention to what they are asking you and how many pieces of evidence you're supposed to cite in them. Keep in mind that you do need to find 2 pieces of direct evidence in your response for both of them. It means 2 direct quotes, and not necessarily just something that somebody says, or it could be Scout's narration, but 2 direct things for both of these. And note that question 1 asked you to consider all 4 chapters rather than just the 2 that you read for today. Okay, so it's asking you to look at chapter 12, 13, 14, and 15 as you look at all of this. But other than that, that is everything for today besides the quiz. So you also have a Google form quiz. It's rather shorter than your other ones because there wasn't a whole lot to ask you from a comprehension standpoint, because these chapters are definitely more interested in developing and dealing with certain themes. There's not really a whole lot to comprehend here, so I tried to ask you a few comprehension questions. But yeah, there are 7 multiple choice and 3 short answer, but the short answers are both about Dill. So pay attention to him because he doesn't really do a whole lot in these chapters, but they do ask you about him. So that's what to look for there. And then pay attention to Scouts, the event that Scout is involved in at the end of these particular chapters, at the end of chapter 15. That's what the other short answer question's about. Pay close attention to what she does there and who she talks to and what she says. Wink, wink. All right, so y'all get that done. Read the chapters, get the organizer done, pay attention to what the paragraph response questions ask you, and then take your quiz, and that'll be it for today.